From the creators who brought you RuPaul's Drag Race and $1 Million Listing, this is World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Wow Report, where we count down the top 10 things of the week that made us go wow. I'm co-founder of World of Wonder, Fenton Bailey, joined by my amazing partners in crime.
It was a long pause there, like anything could have happened.
I was just trying to think of something brilliant and witty, but as usual, could only come up with partners in crime. Our Chief Creative Officer, Tom Campbell.
Hello, hello, hello.
And James St. James, editor of the Wow Report. Welcome back, James.
Thank you. You know, Tom, it looks like you are in like the hallway of a school or something. For our listeners who can't see, where are you? What is? Are you in a church?
I'm in my flat in Windsor, United Kingdom, and this very limited lighting option. So I've made it as dark in the room as possible. I have one lamp blasting toward my face. That's my kitchen behind me.
I must say you look gorgeous. And as a reminder, you can watch this show on our YouTube channel, Wow Presents, every week. And it has extra content, little bits of badinage.
But also, you know, Tom, talk about Tom looking gorgeous. You recently posted on your Instagram, you posted your passport picture. And I got to say, hubba, well, you look very, very, nobody has a good passport picture. You are the only person on the planet who looks good in a passport picture.
Photo credit, Theron Smothers. Thank you, Theron, for bringing out my beauty.
Is always the best at that, isn't he?
He has a good eye. I'm wondering if you can use those Lensa avatars as your passport photo.
Yes, where you're like an astronaut or a superhero. Yeah,
I would like to use that. Yes. All right. Well, let's start the countdown. Tom, number 10.
Number 10.
Well, this is a topic that I'm going to bring up, but it's for all of us. And that is Madonna, queen of all pop, has announced something she swore she would never do. Yes. And she's going out one more time on a world tour. And this time, finally, for the first time at 64, whatever she is, she's doing 40 years of hits, the Madonna Celebration Tour. Hoy boy. And I'll just start off by saying, and I want to hear from you guys, I thought her video that she did, her comic video, which was a parody of, Truth or Dare with a bunch of comedians. She was surrounded at a table with you had to watch it with Amy Schumer, Lil Wayne, Diplo, Jack Black, Judd Apatow, Megan Stalter, and Bob the Drag Queen, was fucking hilarious. And it felt like she was kind of making fun of herself. Just when you've written off Madonna as beyond cranky.
Never ever write her off, can you?
She's back, and I have gone back and forth. I don't have tickets. I get so choked up. The demand,
the anxiety.
Yes, the anxiety of, am I getting the best one? Should I be spending more? And I just put it off, and I'll end up spending thousands of dollars probably the night before or something.
I got a ticket.
Oh wow!
I've never seen her before, and I'm not a big fan of her latest albums. So I figured this is a greatest hits tour. This would be the best time to see her. So I'm doing it.
I mean, Fenton, we know how you are. Tom, do you have a top 3 songs that you want to hear, that you need to hear on this?
I don't know. I was thinking back, and I'm a little delusional, but I went to a lot of MTV Video Music Awards back in the day before I worked at MTV and during.
Lucky.
And I think I saw her perform the famous Vogue. I'm pretty sure I'm not making that up.
Yeah.
I think I saw her do the Express Myself. It's hard to match any of those. She did do, I saw not the last tour, but the one, I went to Miami to see her when she was kind of
Rebel
in Spanish clothes. And she sang La Isla Bonita. She did some of the hits.
Oh, that would be a good one.
But that would be a good one. What do you have?
Well, I definitely, before Fenton to go, I definitely, Deeper and Deeper is my all-time favorite. I love Deeper and Deeper. I would love to see maybe some of the Evita songs or League of Their Own, some of the movie stuff like that. I would love all of that. Fenton, where are you?
Oh, come on. Vogue. I mean, it is probably the greatest song of all time, followed by the second greatest song of all time, Music.
Oh,
It's
okay. Sure. I
totally.
remember going to the music party with you when it came out.
Mhm. I love it, and I like Tom, I've not gotten a ticket. I have been sort of reading the coverage and still stunned at people's sort of ageophobia. Like, who
Oh,
cares if she's
come
64?
on.
Exactly,
Get
number
over
one.
it.
And then number two, like people saying that was a disgusting video, and just
Oh,
I just
like a prayer. That would be a good one for her
like
to
a
do.
prayer. Yes.
I want Drowned World Substitute for Love, but I also want Burning Up and Lucky Star.
You know, Burning Up and Lucky Star, I think I've told you that when I was 17, she performed at a gay club that I used to go to, the Copa in Fort Lauderdale. And
The
it was this
weekend after Divine.
Yeah, it was the weekend. Divine played Friday and she played Saturday. And it was this tiny, tiny stage, like the size of your desk, Fenton. And I was in front row and she lip synced to Burning Up and
It's hot.
Yeah.
Was her brother dancing with her with the backup tapes? Was that how it was?
No, it was just her, and literally because nobody else could fit on the stage. It was that small.
You know what else I'd like to hear is Live to Tell.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Or Crazy for You. One of those two.
Crazy for
That's
you.
Crazy for You.
I heard it on the radio.
I still love Open Your Heart. I love it.
Open Your Heart is one of my all-time faves. That's a perfect song.
I'm totally with you on that. Love Open Your Heart. And come on, get into the groove. I mean, if you want to synthesize a loop, there is no other better than that.
And the video,
Darren,
go to the video right now.
Fenton, I know you're going to get tickets, so buy one in your pack for me and I'll pay you back.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. Take all of us.
And I just think it's really exciting because, only a few weeks ago, she was so over, right? The Madam X tour wasn't that well received. And everyone was like, she's over, she's finished, she's done. And this feels like she's suddenly famous all over again. Massive, mega, who's Taylor Swift? It's just amazing. I'm so excited.
And the other announcement, Bob the drag queen, who I mentioned was in that video. Bob the drag queen is going to go on tour with her and be her opening act. It was a big week for drag queens. Shangela was on Good Morning America pushing her concert. Bob the drag queen's on the Madonna tour, and Jinx Monsoon made her Broadway debut in Chicago. So
fabulous.
Fantastic. All right, let's move on. Tickets are on sale for the Madonna concert. Good luck trying to get them. Number 9, James.
Number 9.
Oh, I'm going to be a cranky pants here. For all three of mine, I'm going to be cranky pants because I watched Tar, the movie that's getting all the acclaim. I went to Vudu and I rented it for like $20. I started watching it and I could not get into it to save my life. And I stopped watching it. And then about 2 weeks later, I rented it again, $20. So I've spent $40 so far on this movie. And I was determined, by God, I'm going to watch it all the way through. And it's just meh. It ticks all the right boxes. It is Kate Blanchett, and she's a manipulative, spooky, creepy weirdo. She's it's an art house movie about art. It's Todd Field is the director. Todd Fields is the director, but it just never takes off. It's long, and I kept waiting for there to be like this big Oscar moment where she screams and shouts and that doesn't happen. And I kept waiting for the movie to take off, and then all of a sudden it's over, it's done. And there's never like a scene, there's never anything that gives you like this is her Oscar scene, And I'm thinking that she's gonna get the Oscar, even though Viola Davis for female or woman warrior queen or whatever that was,
right,
should probably do it. Did anyone else watch it, and what did anyone else think?
I did watch it, and I love Kate Blanchett, so she didn't have to do very much for me to enjoy it, and she didn't do very much. I mean, I thought the potential story of politics in an orchestra was sort of interesting, but like you said, the whole sort of story sort of carried on in the background, like even the supposed the grooming of the people, favoritism, sort of like a background story. It didn't seem.
You think that would be right? It was so perfect to tackle right now, and yet they never really did.
I could have done with something far more melodramatic and over the top. Just a huge,
that's what I'm saying.
orchestral maneuvers in the dark.
I
She's
wanted a
smiling.
big screaming
Yes.
scene where or a
James,
breakdown scene. Yes.
let's remake it. I think it was
Let's do it. I'll do the Tar character.
perfect.
I have a question. I've not seen the movie, but it recently this week received a GLAAD Media Award nomination, and some snarky person said, and I want you to decode this for me, that Tar just got a GLAAD Media Award. It's the kind of movie that 20 years ago it would be protesting against.
Well, I think we should protest it. I mean, the idea of sort of glamorizing a groomer is I guess what the problem with giving her a GLAAD award is. But not every character has to be a hero for you to make a movie about them. Not everyone has to be a good person for the character to be interesting.
Well, this is that whole debate, the sort of, I think, silly debate about like bad gays are back in white.
Yeah, who cares? I don't care if you're gay, if it's a good gay or a bad gay, or it is representation.
Just as long as it's gay.
Awful person,
right?
Let's leave it on that note. That was the perfect thing to say.
It's just so weird. I mean, Tom, I think you have to watch it actually, because I know you rightly, Tom, have problems with movies. Just who's got time in a TikTok world? Who's got time for stuff that comes at you in a very minor key? Because I think Tar is a movie in a minor key.
Hey, you put the nail on it right there, Fenton. And that's all I have to say about that.
Can you hear the background noise?
Is there a cat mewling or something?
The gardener is trimming my bush.
Oh,
with a chainsaw.
Well, it's needed. Good God, I've seen that thing.
Oh God.
All right. Well, that's Tar at number 9. It's available to rent, as James has told you. Okay, let's move on. Number 8. Oh, it's me. Number 8.
Number 8.
Shotgun Wedding. J-Lo has a new movie about her getting married. Is it just me, or does she only make movies about her getting married? Like, because I can't remember.
I think the algorithm has spoken, and it's talked to Jennifer and said, just do wedding movies.
Right? Whether it's Jennifer or Bennifer, or the last movie she was in, the name of which I can't remember. It was a wedding movie.
And
anyway,
it's called Marry Me.
And it's always at Valentine's Day that they come out.
Right. And this is coming to Amazon Prime. And I have to tell you, I actually haven't seen it. I've just seen the trailer because Jazz, as a friend of all of ours, she invited me to go to see it, but I couldn't go. So she took Nolan instead to the premiere last night. And it was
did Nolan get to meet her? Did Nolan see Jennifer Lopez in person?
He saw Jennifer Lopez. But
what was she wearing?
But I have to tell you, there's another Jennifer in town. Everybody's favorite Jennifer of the moment, Jennifer Coolidge. And Jennifer Coolidge, she's in the trailer. She steals every moment of the trailer. You're like, but she doesn't even she's not even the billing block of, because there's Josh Duhamel, Lenny Kravitz, Cheech Marin, like Cheech and Chong, and J-Lo, of course. But Jennifer Coolidge steals the trailer. And I think the movie, from what I can gather, it's kind of like White Lotus meets Die Hard. It's like a wedding party in a rich, exotic destination. They're all taken hostage by some terroristas. And so they have to take them out. But here's the story. I didn't get to go, but Nolan got to go. And Jazz had just met Jennifer the other night. There was an awards ceremony. I don't think it was the Golden Globes. Was there another one after
Lopez or Coolidge?
SAG Award.
Critics' Choice.
All of them.
Anywho, Jazz was telling Jennifer about Nolan's birthday dinner because Nolan just turned 16 and he was like, he didn't want a big party. He just wanted a little dinner with some friends. And so we thought, let's do a White Lotus dinner party theme. Yeah, that's sort of funny because Nolan loves White Lotus. So anyway, there he is last night at this premiere, and Jennifer, and he meets her. And she's like, Nolan, I heard you had a White Lotus themed dinner birthday. So they got on. That was just a lovely moment.
Amazing.
Isn't it really? It really is crazy.
I am so much more likely to watch the Jennifer Lopez marriage movie than I am to ever watched Tar, just so you know.
I think that is absolutely the truth. I think if we make you watch Tar, Tom, which is it's impossible to get you to do that, but you would probably hate us forever, I think.
I hate a long movie.
Yeah. And it is long, isn't it, James? It's like 3 hours.
They milk that $20, boy. They make you work for it.
I've sat next to Jennifer Coolidge like twice at movie screenings, and I think one of them was at the Freak Show screening, James.
Stop it, really?
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
Was she handsy at all with you, or?
Oh, yeah.
Shotgun Wedding, January 27th. That's next Friday on Amazon Prime. And I think it's only 80 or 90 minutes long.
Love that.
All right. Let's take a quick break. Drag Race Universe is a new fast channel that is free, ad-supported streaming television. So basically, it's like you can watch it for free, and you can't choose what you watch. It plays like linear TV, and it has ads in it. But it's Drag Race Universe, and multiple seasons of Drag Race from the franchise.
So it's Drag Race all the time.
Thank you, Drag Race all the time.
Do you know how you access it? Because this came out and no one told me. And not that you have to, but I was a little confused.
It's called Drag Race Universe, and currently it is on Vizio.tv. But it'll be on all those, Rokus and Freevies and what have yous in due course.
Fantastic.
So, yeah. All right. We're very excited to do that with our partners at Blue Ant Media. They're the people who we make Drag Race Canada with. We'll take a quick break. Blake, have you got a question?
Sure. How many #1 hits does Madonna have? And which one was her longest running #1?
Oh, that's interesting.
Kind of surprising.
Oh, wow. All right, we'll have the answer for you right after the break here on the Wow Report on Radio Andy.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
And welcome back to the Wow Report. I'm Fenton here with Tom, who's in London. Actually, I should say Windsor. And James, who's in Hollywood. And Blake with the answer to the question.
Yeah. How many #1 hits has Madonna had? And what is her longest running #1?
Well, I think I know this. I think she's had 172 #1 hits. And I think that the longest running hit was Rain.
I'm going to say that the longest #1 was Ray of Light. And I think she's had 20 #1 hits.
I gotta say, I think she's had 63 #1 hits.
Oh.
And
wait, are these all? Are you counting #1 dance hits, or are they all #1 on the pop chart?
Oh, now you're getting like specific
pop charts.
Pop charts. Oh, well, then I'm changing mine to 3.
And I guess it would have to be Vogue. I don't know.
Good guesses. James, I would say you were the closest with your first one, because if you took the 7 out, it would just be 12. She had 12 #1 hits. And her longest running was actually Take a Bow from Bedtime Stories.
That's interesting.
Good song. I forgot about Take a Bow. It's one of my favorite songs. I want to hear her sing that too.
7 weeks in 95, I believe.
Wait, is that the bullfight where she's in the 1940s outfit one? Oh, that's such a good look for her.
And it came out just as I was breaking up with this guy named Bradley, and it was our.
And that's what the video was. She was sort of auditioning for Evita. She had that Evita look about her that she was trying to get. Yes, exactly.
But why was it #1 for so long? Because I mean, it's a nice song, but it's not like quintessential Madonna or.
But it appeals to such a large group, I think.
Yeah, it's like adult contemporary.
I got it. Well, that makes sense, I guess. All right, we're counting down the top 10 things that made us go wow this week, and we've reached number 7, Tom.
Number 7.
So TV in the UK, linear TV is a little rough. There, I said it.
How dare you?
It's a little rough. You know, everyone's on streamers and there's lots of other ways to get, but I'm just sitting. Sometimes you're just brain dead and you're clicking through the channels. But I came upon the best show that I wanted to share with you. I thought I discovered it, and then I realized it came out last year. But it's new to me, and I want to talk to you about it. It's so British, but it's Joanna Lumley, Greatest Cities of the World. And it's on ITV, and I think you can watch it even on YouTube in the States. And I think they do a lot with the different people doing it, Greatest Cities of the World. But Joanna Lumley is so delightful. I got to meet her on Drag Race briefly when she was a guest judge last season in the UK, but she's so articulate. And there's 3 cities she does. I just saw Rome, which was fantastic, but she also does Berlin and Paris. But she speaks Italian, so she's like half an English, half an Italian. She a little bit, you know, it's so British because she only did 3. And you'd think of this idea in the States and be like, yeah, how many can you do? And I don't watch those Bourdain. I just never have watched those things. But this just sucked me in. And she, in one fantastic hour, she opened the Sistine Chapel. She found the one key that's in an envelope, and then they bust through all these huge doors and turn on the lights, and it's rapturous. Then she goes to a bunch of places, but then also she goes to a play or an opera of Caesar's assassination, and she says, you know, Shakespeare said it happened at the Forum, but it really happened this other place. It's so ruins, you can't even step in there. She steps in there with this woman. It's just cats all around, which of course I love. And then at one point she goes, so where did it actually happen? And the guide is sort of like, follow in my footsteps. And she goes, right here. And so Joanna like throws herself against the wall and goes, this wall witnessed history. Everything's just fantastic. She was so yummy. She finds a Caravaggio painting in this obscure church, which you know, Caravaggio is all about the light, and you get to watch it by putting the church raises money by you put a coin in and it lights up, and she's sort of narrating it and the light goes off and she puts another quarter or whatever and it lights up. Hilarious and very informative. And then if there wasn't enough, she went to Bulgari, which is nestled underneath the Spanish steps. And she talks to someone because they're buying back a lot of their pieces, their iconic, you know, pieces, and they bought back like the Elizabeth Taylor emerald, you know, necklace that Burton gave her during Cleopatra. And they talk about how celebrities would sneak in the back, and they have all these gorgeous pictures. And they said, this is how celebrities, you know, would find us without being discovered by the paparazzi. And then, swear to God, this is the day before we found out she passed, in came Gina Lollobrigida. And I was like, Gina Lollobrigida's still alive, and she's deep in her 90s. Her hair is done. She's seated, and she talks about her important jewels. And they show vintage photos of her in the 50s. And I had forgotten about Gina Lollobrigida and how incredible and sexy.
That's so funny because there was just an Instagram thing of Gina Lollobrigida's jewels that I just recently looked at, and she had some amazing pieces, just unbelievable.
Being famous was so different then, right? Suddenly you were the cream of the world. She was an international. And then I find out the next day that Gina Lollobrigida has passed away.
Yeah.
And I Googled pictures, and Sophia Loren is gorgeous. I'm not going to compare them, but Gina Lollobrigida, there was something, they talk about faces. People used to have faces and noses, and she was so sexy. And I didn't realize how much of a Italian movie star she was before she became an international movie star. And the quote about her is her first American movie was with Humphrey Bogart in a movie that she replaced Marilyn Monroe. And Humphrey Bogart made this incredible quote about Gina Lollobrigida, saying, Gina Lollobrigida makes Marilyn Monroe look like a Girl Scout. So anyway, Joanna Lumley, I adore you. And rest in peace, Gina Lollobrigida.
Are these single-hour episodes, Tom?
Yes.
And they're so good. A whole season in Rome. I mean, she could do like 6 1-hours in Rome, right? I mean,
covered so much. At the end, she Joanna Lumley is like up in the tall in the building, and the helicopter carrying the Pope flies by, and she says, "Rome, the eternal city. It's where time telescopes. You know, it all crushes in on itself, past, present, future." It's well written, and she speaks very well. And I think it's on YouTube. I think you can get on YouTube. So.
That sounds like fun. That sounds right up my alley.
Yes. All right. Number 6, James.
Number 6.
Number 6, Black Adam. I did not see it in the theater, but it is now on HBO Max and on Hulu, and I watched it, and this is another just very odd movie, okay? Black Adam is, he's part of the Shazam universe. He's DC is a DC character that unless you are a huge DC fan, he's not known out. Not many people. Everyone knows Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern. Nobody knows who Black Adam is. I don't know why they sunk $100 million into this. And even if you do know who he is, if you're like a DC person, you don't really care about him. He's not that big of a character. He's not that important in the whole gist of everything. And uh he's this anti-hero. He is given powers by these Egyptian gods, and then he wakes up after 5,000 years in modern day times, and he's trying to take out this military group that's trying to take over his country, and he's fighting them, and then the Justice Society comes and he's fighting them, and there's the other, like, nobody cares about the Justice Society. They're all D-list people. You've never heard of them. It's Dr. Fate, it's Cyclone, it's Hawkman. Nobody knows these people. Nobody cares about any of these people. And it's Noah Centineo is in it, who is supposed to be a huge star by now. I've talked about him a million times. He's cute. He's goofy. He's cute. He sort of makes the movie. But the problem with the movie is that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he's been trying to get this movie made for 10 years, right? It's a passion project of his. And he's 50 years old now. And at 50 years old, to be putting on a pair of spandex tights and it's your first superhero movie, he's just sort of wrinkled and old and like it's I know it's ageist and people are going to jump on me about this, but if you're 20 somethings and 30 somethings should be in spandex superhero outfits, 50-year-olds just, no matter how good your body is or how good looking you are, you're just an old man in a spandex outfit.
Well, I just think the DC universe on film and TV is a complete disaster across the boards.
I don't want to talk about that. That's not a conversation I'm willing to have right now.
Oh gosh, I've triggered James. Tom, say something. Help.
I just feel like with all the CGI in the world, they could have smoothed him out. He's so beautiful.
Well, you could that's one thing they should have tried to do, yes. And the other thing is the movie is just one. There's not really much of a plot to it. It's just smash them up, bash them up. But it's fight after fight after fight after fight. Like every superhero the problem of every superhero movie. And you think that it's over, and then you've got another 40 minutes. And that's the other problem with superhero movies is they always go on too long.
I'm telling you, when I run for president, movies under 2 hours, I'll be elected.
That's your platform?
Yes, that's it.
Black Adam is streaming on Prime Video. Number 5.
Number 5.
I'm going to set this up like a Blake question. What was the name of the first drag queen elected to Congress?
I know.
George Santos, of course.
Yes.
Now, look, I mean, I have to say, I'm known for my sort of MAGA rants and what have you, but I have been fascinated by the George Santos story. A few lies is, what you would expect of anyone at the GOP, but lie upon lie upon lie upon lie. I loved the interview with him where the Fox News anchor was saying, that your resume is like basically a load of old shit. And he says, well, it's what did he said? Embellishments.
They're embellishments.
And she was like, well, not sure it's embellished, as completely made up.
He just should have gone with alternate facts. He just should have said it's a bunch of alternate facts.
Looks like the old news then is that he didn't work where he said he worked, Goldman Sachs, Citicorp. He didn't go to school where he said he went, Horace Mann, Barack, NYU. He didn't go to college where he said he did. He didn't go to college at all. He isn't Jewish. His mother didn't die on 9/11. He didn't lose colleagues in the Pulse nightclub shooting. And even though he's gay, he was married, which that's not a disqualifying thing. That may be true, actually. Many gay people are married to women, right? I mean, so anyway. And he hasn't been in Congress very long. He already has a bill named after him, the Stopping Another Non-Truthful Officer Seeker Act, spells out Santos, which I think is quite fun. But The breaking news is Miss Katara, when he was in Brazil defrauding some shop by writing checks with a false name, as just another day's work, he also would get up in drag as Katara. And nothing wrong with being a drag queen. Lord knows we love him. I would say he was not a very good, glamorous drag queen. In fact, I think one of the people who reported this or knew him back in the day when he was said he wasn't glamorous enough to be in the gay pride parade. He was just a looky-loo, if you will.
The one clear picture I saw, he chose to use his natural brow, which is always a mistake. You know, gum over your brow, white it out, and raise your brow. Give yourself a little, heighten the look.
Yeah. James, have you seen the pictures?
I have. I love them. I think it's fantastic. I find it so. It's on the one hand, you want to be upset and you want to be, just outraged and everything like that. But considering, considering Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and Matt Gaetz and all these people, like it just sort of seems absolutely normal now. Like I can't. It's so normalized, these outrageous, terrible people, that like it's sort of like you have to like either laugh about it because they aren't going to do anything about it. Lord knows the Republicans don't have a problem with it. So why should we?
Well, exactly. And I mean, perhaps the fact he was in drag is the one thing that will motivate the Republicans to try and oust him from his seat, because as we know,
which is funny because that's the one thing about him that I like.
Exactly right.
He was a horrible drag queen. We've all been there.
Right. So maybe if we were to make a movie, what would it be called? The Talented Mr. Ripley. I mean, the Talented Mr. I fucked up my own joke. What would the movie be called? It would be called The Talented Mr. Santos.
There we go.
I think it's a drag race challenge where each queen gets a chance to make him over. I don't know. Maybe that's the way to do it.
I love that. Yeah. I mean,
maybe he could be on that. Maybe he could be on that Gay Best Friends of Hollywood thing with Todrick, and he could be.
He probably is, actually.
Finale.
All right. Well, he has officially denied, despite the fact that there are pictures, of course, he has denied the fact that he ever was in drag, because, of course, this is George Santos, who has aligned himself with saying that drag queens and drag shows groom children. And he said, quote, the media continues to make outrageous claims about my life while I'm working to deliver results.
I think I'm going to start using that line too.
Right. Speaking of, packed with glorious insider gossip and amazing celebrity stories, Fender Bailey's new book, that's me, Screen Age, tells a wider story of how television has fundamentally shifted our reality, from Tammy Faye to RuPaul's Drag Race, available here in the States at the WOW store, store.worldofwonder.com, or you can pre-order now at Amazon.
Poor Fenton Bailey. You couldn't get any one of us to push it for you.
Well, I was going to ask, but then I thought you'd say, how dare you? I've never been so outraged in my life.
Poor Fenton out there on the street with a copy of the book, flagging down drivers. Well, buy my book, please.
As someone who's read the book 4 times, I'd be happy to push it for you.
Thank you. I will ask you.
I have 30 more pages in it, and I'm loving every second of it.
Oh, bless you. Well, thank you very much. Blake, do you have a question? Maybe
I do.
Maybe it's about my book.
Well, it's not, but maybe next week. Okay.
You just can't catch a break.
I
know. Who was the first president to visit all 50 states?
We'll have the answer right here on the WOW Report after the break.
You're listening to World of Wonders WOW Report. Things that make us go wow.
And welcome back to the WOW Report. It's Fenton here with Tom and James and Blake. We're counting down the top 10 things that made us go wow. And Blake, you had a question for us.
Yeah. Who was the first president to travel to all 50 states?
Well, it has to have been since the 50 states were there. Tom, you have an
That's a good point. And Hawaii and Alaska were 59. So I'm thinking Kennedy. I'm thinking jet age. I'm thinking stomping Kennedy.
See, I'm with you, but I'm thinking it was Eisenhower right before, because Eisenhower had a little longer to do it, maybe.
I think it's a non-distinct one, like Gerald Ford.
Oh, possibly. There you go. Blake, who is it?
Well, you're all wrong, unfortunately. It was the morally corrupt Richard Nixon.
He did travel a lot, didn't he?
He got around. He went to China.
Yeah.
We're counting down the top 10 things that made us go, wow. We've reached number 4. Tom.
Number 4.
Well, James, I am glad you're back, because last week with Randy here, I had to be the one who was like grimacing about everything. So thank God you're
cranky
back.
Pants. Oh no!
Yes, I was the cranky pants.
You are never cranky pants.
I was last week, wasn't I, Fenton?
You were a little, yes.
I was angry. I didn't even know why. And I was, oh my God, I'm filling a void. But I'm back to I want us to focus in 2023 on the positive, on the good things. And these are some things as a consumer of pop culture, and particularly as a gay man, pop culture person, I'm really looking forward to, and I want to see what you guys are too. First of all, it's a smaller one, but I'm excited. It was just released this week that Meryl Streep is joining the 3rd season cast of Only Murders in the Building.
Hallelujah! I mean, praise the Lord.
Just reminds me how much I love that friggin' show, and how they had Shirley MacLaine on last week, and I think Paul Rudd's in it. It's a little jewel box of a show, and I can't wait to see how they use Meryl Streep.
Why can't Meryl Streep, though, be in Only Murders, Hacks, and White Lotus?
Yeah, and House of Dragons too. Put her on her dragon, I say.
A trifecta. You should do them all.
Get her out. Yeah. The second news, which I was excited about, but there's some controversy, is that one of the hunks, Theo James from White Lotus, who played the sleazy cheating husband, Theo James, it's been announced, is going to play George Michael in a new biopicture, a big budgeted biopicture about George Michael, along the lines of the Elton John biopic or the Queen Eddie Mercury. I think it's great casting. I love George Michael. I think he has a tragic story. I love his music. There was no greater star, and with a greater fall, and yet, what do you guys? But Adam Lambert came out on social media to say another straight guy playing a gay guy, and Adam kind of wants the part for himself, which
he has the music, he has the chops for it. He does.
He does musically.
You got to give it to Theo James for who looks is uncanny.
Dead ringer, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I go back and forth about this because it would be wonderful if there was a gay star that could pull it off musically and everything like that. I sometimes think the best part, the best actor should play the best part, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to be a polar bear to be to play a polar bear in a movie. I mean, you don't have to be the character that you're playing. You don't. But by the same token, it would be nice if there was a gay star to pull it off. Fenton,
and Adam Lambert's an amazing singer and hasn't proven himself as an actor, to be honest. So,
and I don't think he has the right look for it, whereas Theo James does.
Yeah,
Fenton, where are you on this?
So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think Theo James will be brilliant, and I'm totally with you, James. I don't think you have to be a polar bear to be a polar bear.
I don't know where that it came from, but I'm standing by it.
Sticking with it. I love it.
It's going to be the quote on the George Michael poster. Last but certainly not least,
sorry though. Can Adam Lambert should play who was the guy in Wham? Ridgely, Andrew Ridgely.
Oh, Andrew Ridgely. Okay.
Ooh, that's a bit of a shady comment.
Is it? Why? Why is it shady?
I guess that's fine. No, it's just Andrew is smaller. I
have worries though for the story. I think it's a bleak, dark story without much hope.
Well, it depends how much they tell of it and where it ends. And there's also great joy and success in it. I totally agree with you. It's a super sad story.
The way to fix this is you focus on one particular episode of his life. You focus on the bathroom thing and the fallout from that.
James, I can tell you they are not going to do that.
But no, but I'm telling you, I would watch a show about the fallout from a sex scandal like that. I think therein, you don't have to have the early days. You don't have to have the ending. You just focus on that one particular moment and the fallout that it had for gay culture in particular, and how that opened doors for not sex shaming people. I think all of that is fascinating.
Last but not least, we know Dolly Parton's making a rock album. This week we learned that she's doing covers of the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, Prince, Journey, Leonard Skinner, and she's working with Paul McCartney. She's singing with Paul McCartney. Stevie Nicks is on this album. John Fogerty, Pink, Brandi Carlile, and yes, Dolly Parton and Cher.
Ah! And I just orgasmed right here on my. My chair is soaking wet.
Bruce, who I work with, said, "Have they ever done anything together?" So I Googled, and there was a Cher special in '77 where they sang like "Heaven and Hell," like a medley of like heaven songs.
I saw that. I've seen that. Yes. Where she was in heaven and Cher was in hell. Yes.
That's right. And last but not least, Dionne Warwick, separately from the rock album, has recorded a duet with Dolly Parton, and we have to look forward to that. So Meryl Streep, Only Murders in the Building, Theo James, George Michael picture, and right away all these Dolly songs are coming, I hope soon. So that's something to look forward to, James, when you get a little extra cranky pantsy.
I love that. Things that will make us go wow.
Yes.
All right. Number 3, James.
Number 3.
I watched a movie called The Pale Blue Eye with Christian Bale and Gillian Anderson, and it seems like it's Oscar bait. It's got Oscar bait written all over it, and yet nobody's heard about it. Have you heard one word about this? Do you know about this?
Nope.
No. Okay. Let me set it up for you. It's a fictional story featuring a real life person, Edgar Allan Poe. Okay. And so it's set in 1830 at West Point Academy when Edgar Allan Poe was a student there. Okay. And one of the cadets commits suicide. He hangs himself. And the next day, while someone breaks into the room where the body was and carves out his heart. Okay, so there's this giant mystery. What, he kills himself, and then somebody comes in and desecrates the body. What's going on here? What's the story? Well, so the head of West Point Academy brings in a detective played by Christian Bale to figure it out. Now, if you know your history, you know that in 1830, there were no such things as detectives. It wasn't a job. It wasn't even a word. Edgar Allan Poe is credited with writing the first detective story, Murder in the Rue Morgue. Okay?
Wow. No idea.
Some people think it was Wilkie Collins who did Moonstone, but you can debate it. Edgar Allan Poe wrote Murders in the Rue Morgue in 1940 and set off the vogue for detective stories. And Murders in the Rue Morgue, they don't even use the word detective. That doesn't come till later. So essentially, this is an origin story of why Edgar Allan Poe wrote the first detective story. And you think that's fascinating, okay? You think, wow, this really has potential. But no. It is the most boring, the dullest, the longest. It is like if ASMR was a movie. Everybody whispers their dialogue, and nobody ever talks above a whisper. It is like this the whole time. And it goes on and on and on. And once again, there is no climax. There is no big scene in it. Gillian Anderson is great. Christian Bale is great. They're all great, blah, blah, blah. The only reason... and the guy who plays Edgar Allan Poe, his name is Henry Melling, okay? And I don't know if they CGI'd him. I don't know if it's prosthetics. I don't know what the hell they did to him, but he is the weirdest looking freak you've ever seen captured on camera. You cannot take your eyes off of how weird looking this guy is. You watch it for that because you can't figure out, is this movie magic? Is he just a weird looking guy? You can't figure it out. The other thing is the costuming. These outfits, it's very specific. 1830 had these big, huge balloon sleeves and the colors and the fabric, everything. Watch it for the costumes. Watch it for how weird the character of Edgar Allan Poe is. But the rest of it just sucks donkey balls.
Maybe that's why we've not heard about it.
Yeah, it's because you would think that you would sound Edgar Allan Poe,
Yes.
Gillian Anderson, Christian Bale. You'd think it has Oscar all over it, but dear God in heaven.
That's
I
absolutely
think I
fine.
may be related to Edgar Allan Poe.
What?
Yeah, my grandmother on my dad's side, their Poe is like a family name.
And what wasn't he from, like Iowa or something like that? I'm just making this up.
He's from Boston or like somewhere in the north.
You could have just agreed with me, Blake.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on to number 2. I'm going to do a Rest in Perfection.
Number 2.
Rest in Perfection, Ed Pressman. Don't know if you know who. Yes,
I had no idea.
Pioneering independent producer, and of course, James, the producer of Party Monster, the movie.
Yes.
But perhaps better known for Wall Street, Conan the Barbarian, Bad Lieutenant, American Psycho, The Crow, Judge Dredd. Those are just a few of more than
huge
films.
movies.
It's funny because I used to see Ed. There's a Thai restaurant that I used to go to, and he was there almost every day. I love Ed Pressman. I had no idea.
He was so lovely, and he was the producer who embraced films that Hollywood just never wanted to touch, and that was certainly our experience with him with the Party Monster. But he was great. I mean, he was so lovely and supportive, and
the stories he would tell. He is one of those old Hollywood people who has been around and knew everyone. And you could just getting him talking was just such a delight.
And shockingly, James, not that old. I mean, just 79 years old. I mean, really. I mean, one of the last things he was involved with, which I have to say I haven't seen, is a documentary called Dear Mr. Brody. And I'm going to seek it out after this and find out where I can watch it. But Michael, this is based on a true story. Michael Brody Jr. was the 21-year-old heir to the oleo margarine fortune.
Sure. Oh, yeah, sure.
And he said, I guess this was back in the 60s or 70s, he said that he would give $25 million to anyone who asked. And this became a big pre-internet viral sensation. I think he was on talk shows. Yes.
No, I would like some. I was just putting it out there.
He was on talk shows, and needless to say, the world and his mother wrote to him, please give me this, please give me that. Well, I forget exactly what went awry, but I don't believe the money ended up being given out, because the whole well-intentioned project, which I think came out of the sort of hippie era, just sort of went off the rails, and it just was impossible to do. But Ed Pressman found boxes and boxes of correspondence of all the letters that were written to Michael Brody Jr. And for many, many years, he wanted to make a movie, and the movie never got made. But recently, a director came along and said, let's make a documentary. And Dear Mr. Brody is a documentary that came out a couple of years ago. And apparently it's absolutely fascinating because it's all about the letters and the stories of the people who wrote to him and what was behind that. So, but thank you, Ed Pressman, for
that's really shocking and sad, because I genuinely enjoyed my time spent with him. It was a fantastic person.
Oh, he loved you. He really did.
Yeah. Wow.
Good news is Pressman Films is still around. His son, I think, is in his 30s, is taking over the business. So Rest in Perfection, Ed Pressman, and onwards, right? We'll take one more break, and I will just tell you this. House of Love, available in 4 delicious cocktails and 2 mouth-watering mocktails. Perfect party viewing for Drag Race Season 15. You can order them at houseoflovecocktails.com, and you can subscribe and get discounts and merch. I personally love the underwear. Because the packaging.
I'm a fan of the House of Love fanny pack. There, I said it.
There you go. When we come back, we're going to take one more break. When we come back, we will reveal. Let's reveal the number one thing this week that made us go, wow. You're listening to the Wow Report on Radio Andy.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report. Fenton here with James and Tom and Blake. We've been counting down the top 10 things this week that made us go wow. And we've reached number 1.
Number 1.
I think we were all shocked when we heard the news that Lisa Marie Presley, at the very young age of 54, passed away this past week. You know, the week started with her doing a lot of public appearances, red carpet at the Golden Globes in support of the Elvis movie. And of course, Austin Butler was with her and mentioned her in his speech. And then a day or two later, she had a cardiac arrest and passed away. And Lisa Marie, I don't think it was a secret that she battled substance abuse. It's clearly in her family DNA. And also tragically had, lost her son.
I don't think she ever got over that. I
don't know how you could. And, it's the movie of Elvis is worth watching. It's really interesting. I said before, and with no disrespect to Priscilla or anything, we love Elvis. Elvis was a very unique star. And Priscilla and Lisa Marie both have done a really good job of crystallizing his myth to be to clean it up a little bit and to talk about his love for Priscilla and his love for Lisa Marie, which I don't doubt, but like he ended in a terrible way too, in a mess. And you just see how addiction keeps, I don't know, rearing its head in that family.
Yeah,
and
cascading generational trauma is what they call it, just generational trauma. Interestingly, when Elvis died, he was only worth like $2 or $4 million or something like that. And when they opened up Graceland, they built it up to $100 million, and then she lost $100 million. How does a person do that?
What happened?
She spent it. She had bad business management and everything, but after building up $100 million fortune from Graceland, she ended up being like destitute after that. It's a crazy story. Her whole Michael Jackson thing is crazy. It's weird because Daily Mail, how snarky they are and how mean they are. After the Golden Globes, there was article after article after article about how horrible she looked at the Golden Globes, and she looked gray and pasty, and everyone was like, she looked like crap. And the comments were so nasty. And then come to find out that she had a cardiac arrest right after that. It was a very shocking. It reminded me of Carrie Fisher. Just going like that, just like one day she's there and that, like just that weird, like how precious life is and how fast it can just be gone.
Yeah. And there's something, the talk of the town is Nepo babies and all that kind of thing and all this disrespect. But we do, our pop stars are our Greek gods, and it's hard not to be sucked into the story of Lisa Marie and Elvis and now this tragedy. It's hard not to feel involved. And she was so beautiful and she looked like Elvis. Her daughter, I didn't realize she had twins who were like 10 or 11 years old.
Was Riley, and was Riley the twin with the boy?
No, it's Riley, and then she has 2 twins.
Harper,
a set of twins.
Harper,
so there's 3 children she leaves behind.
Yeah.
So rest in power, rest in perfection. Dolly Parton wrote this thing. Only Dolly could do this and make me cry. And she said, "Oh, Priscilla, I'm so sorry for your loss. It made me cry." And she says, "Elvis, your baby girl's coming home. Like you get to be back together again." And again, just the sentiment there is pretty
poor, Priscilla. I mean, talk about a life, right there. Priscilla needs her own biopic.
Well, thank you for listening. Sorry to end it on a sad note, but we'll be back next week. Same time, same place. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, James.
Yes.
Thank you, Blake. And thank you all out there for listening. You can catch previous shows on the YouTube channel, Wow Presents. Until then, go out and do something that makes the world go
wow.